correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you've done some digging and pulled up some scores. And
I have.
Okay.
Yeah, so speaking of Resident Evil 4, we wanted to dive into that topic because game releases tomorrow. We're excited. But first, we wanted to dive into the scores. It's getting amazing reviews.
Interesting.
Currently sitting at a 93% on Metacritic. That's really high.
Very impressive.
Very high. Wow.
With some reviews saying that it's brilliant, while it might not have the same extraordinary sense of upgrade that Resident Evil 2 did, which makes sense. It
was a newer game.
Yeah, exactly. Important to realize what it represents. Resident Evil 4 was the main driver in the third-person action revolution. That was the influence that came full circle, so obviously it makes sense. On the other side, a couple complaints I saw, which we're going to kind of dive into some of these topics. On the other side, some of the complaints were that the game now relies heavily on knife parries and stealth kills.
Now,
interesting. With that said...
I'm fine with that.
Okay, I was about to say, do you think that would ruin the experience for you at all, or are you just kind of now open to it?
No, I'm fine with that. I like stealth games, though.
Yeah, you're a big Metal Gear Solid fan.
And as someone who... You know, Resident Evil 4 wasn't my first Resident Evil that I played, so it's not like I have that nostalgia attached to it that's like, this is the best one ever, and don't change a single thing. I'm cool with it. Yeah, honestly, I'm almost cool with any game going a little bit more Metal Gear Solid, at least first few Metal Gear Solids. So, no, I'm cool with that. I like stealth-style games.
Yeah.
I think the question I would propose is, like, to diehard fans, I feel like remakes... When it comes to remakes, you don't want people to stray too far from what the game was because it's something you love, right? And so I feel like who it's going to really bother is the people that, you know what I mean,
want to be exactly the same.
Yeah, all in on that game. Because I would maybe even feel that way if they remade the original Tomb Raider, right? Because it's like, that's a game from my childhood. And I remember watching that and being like, oh my gosh, the original Tomb Raider. And then it's like, if they remade that and then altered stuff, I'd be like, hey, wait a second, like... You know what I mean? So I feel like it more probably has to do with your expectations going into it.
And I think it depends on what's altered. Like, something like that, I mean, they're not going to take away guns completely out of the game. That just wouldn't make any sense. Just having some focus on knife parries and stuff like that and making it more stealth, I feel like that's just almost an enhancement on the game. It'd be different if they changed the storyline.
Yeah.
If you're going to make a new remake... I don't feel like you should change the storyline, or at least it should complement what was already done and add more. I know there are some that I've loved that they. I know, I know, but I'm just saying, like, so that's not a change that would bug me at least.
So when you say knife parry, is that a character in the game? Is it parry and he just has a knife?
That's what's different.
Yeah.
No, so here's the thing, and I wanted to explain this to you guys on knife parries. The worry is the game was already a little bit more on the action side versus horror side. So now a guy chasing you with a chainsaw, knife block, does that get rid of the scare value a little bit?
That seems... not that Resident Evil's it's slightly realistic.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's unrealistic.
You get your kitchen knife out.
Probably not the argument to make, because nothing in Resident Evil is realistic, and that's fine. I don't want it to be realistic. I think it just depends on how they do it, because at least for me, I think that's, again, not saying Resident Evil 4 is a bad game. I think it's still a great game, and it did amazing things for the genre, but it's I don't think it's nearly as intense or scary as 1, 2, or 3, or even 7 and 8. We can skip 5 and 6 completely. But no, so I actually hope they add a little more of that, like, intense horror feel, because you know, 4 was very much action based, and again, well, like I said,
let's be real. When you think of Resident Evil, you think of horror. Like, that's your first thought. At least for me, is horror. It was the OG horror game, and it still holds true now for their latest. But that,
like, helpless feeling, like it's gonna get me no matter what I try to do, pretty much, and you're gonna have to keep trying a million times.
Yep. Exactly. You're dead. Speaking of realistic, you know, typewriter to save your game.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
That's real.
I know. Isn't that great? All right. So this is our next topic.